All right. So we're gonna get away from the Super Bowl topics for a minute. I'm gonna get back with some more later on this week. We'll talk about the defense. We'll talk about the defenses next. But right now, one of the hot topics have been between Darrell Revis and Richard Sherman. Everybody knows the story by now. Basically, Revis was called. He called out Sherman after he got beat on a play by Adams. Caught him deep for like 60. So Revis said that basically he's not playing man-to-man and he's a zone corner. He's not following the receiver across the field, accept the challenge. That's what he said. So no notes for this one. I'm just going to speak off of my experience playing the cornerback position. By no means was I pro level. The farthest I got to was a junior college level of playing cornerback. I did earn a starting position at that college, but I ended up having to work, so I didn't pursue it any further than that. But I was pretty good corner, excellent technique, and I could definitely coach some kids on how to play the position. So here we go. We'll start with who's better. And I'll break it down this way. If we're gonna talk about strictly in their prime, I would say player to player in their prime, Darrell Revis was better. He did some incredible things man to man with some of the all-time greats. He had like maybe a 2-3 year incredible run. Can't take that away from him. So I'll say the prime Revis, prime Sherman. I'll say prime Revis. Now, if you want to talk about who's had a better career or who I would rather be, even though I love being myself, but if this is what we're going to talk about, then that's where I go with Sherman. Now, me as a player, my style of play was more how Revis was. I was a man-to-man guy, but I also could play the zone too. So there's a couple of components that you got to understand. And again, these are things that I haven't heard some of these top people say. So I'm about to drop some jewels, and anybody that knows the game or played, they're gonna be like, man, he's on point. So here's the thing about playing man-to-man. When you play man-to-man, it doesn't require any thinking. Or I shouldn't say any, but it requires less thinking. Playing man-to-man requires less thinking. You're just following a guy around and you're reacting to everything, and hopefully you react fast enough. Physicality is involved, getting them knocked off the route, being able to bump them down the field without getting flagged. All these types of gamesmanship type things comes into play when you're playing man-to-man and you're following the receiver across the field. So is the task tougher? It depends. It really depends. Somebody say, man, it's harder to play man to man. Not necessarily, because you don't all you gotta think about is one person and nobody else. I just gotta think about him and follow him around and try to stay as close to him as I can to break up a pass or to possibly get an intercept. This is what I got to do. I got to be as close as I possibly can to this person. So that's the scheme of it. From a thought process thing, it's not a lot of thinking involved with playing man-to-man. It's following, reacting, shadowing, and learning how to be physical enough without getting yourself a flag. And Revis did an excellent job at that for quite some time. When you're playing a zone as a corner, you got a lot more to think about because receivers come in and out of your zone. You know what I mean? So if a guy starts in your zone, he may leave and go into the next man's zone, and somebody you're not even looking at can cross and creep right behind it. So it requires a lot more intelligence to play the zone defense because it's more to think about. So it requires more brain power than man-to-man does. And these are just facts. These are just facts. It's simple. Are you man-to-man, you think about one person. Zone, you think about the quarterback, where this person's going, how they're standing. There's so much stuff you got to think about in the zone. So both ways of playing are important, and they both require skill, a different level of skill. One is more of a thinking style thing, and the other is more of a reactionary style. So it all depends, and I haven't heard anybody break this down like I'm doing. I haven't. So I hope I get a gazillion views on this, because I haven't heard anybody break it down, because that's the truth of the matter. Now, you could say basically cover 3 means don't let anybody get behind you. That's your job. Don't let anybody get behind you, and be able to tackle the person if he catches in front of you. That's basically your job. So from a scheme standpoint, that's pretty simple. You can use the bell technique and things like that. But Richard Sherman is a ball hawk. He's a ball hawk. So that means he's not just playing the bell technique. He's not just doing that, because he's getting his picks. He's getting his picks. So, he's causing turnovers out there. So, it's just, this is just how you break that conversation down. So it kind of boils down to who you like better at the end of it, because they both was dope. But I'm looking at Sherman's career, and I'm thinking Sherman's career is better at this point. At Revis' height, not many was touching him. Only one per. I only put at his height. I only put Dion above him at his height. But when you talking about the full body of work, one guy's at home right now, and the other guy's on his way to the Super Bowl playing Pro Bowl level ball. He got 2 picks. He got 2 picks right now, currently, on his way to his 3rd Super Bowl. And he's getting to the Super Bowl this year, coming off an injury, and with a team that lost 10 games last year. When you can line it up how you want to. Sherman don't get his due. He don't get his due. He don't get his due. I'm telling you, he's better than people give him credit for. He's better than people give him credit for. I'm trying to tell you. When Revis Island was cracking, the Jets really wasn't doing shit. He is balling, but I'm just saying, at the end of the day, this is his 3rd Super Bowl. He's still in the league playing at a high level. So, that got to count for something. I'm sorry. If people don't like him because his mouth or whatever, I get it. But when it comes to what's happening on the field and what he's been able to do, the guy's an intelligent player. And he's past his prime, but he's so smart. He's playing the techniques. He's reading the quarterbacks. He's reading the receivers. He's doing this shit with it's mostly mental. But it's just like I told you, when you're playing a side of the field and that type of thing, it's a cerebral type corner thing, and not necessarily so much physical. It's a lot of thinking involved with that, and no one has ever broke that shit down like that. So that's what it is. Shout out to both dudes. That's my take on that. They both Hall of Famers. Both corners are first ballot Hall of Famers. Both of them have won Super Bowls. That's just what it is. So hopefully some people that don't understand the corner position and how that works, hopefully me discussing the difference in playing man-to-man and playing zone, hopefully y'all get it a little bit better, because you in zone, you playing a little man-to-man, a little area. It's just more components in playing zone, truthfully. At that position, it's just more going on. So like, subscribe, dislike, hit me. Y'all gotta make this get a zillion views, because I broke this shit down. ESPN, NFL Network, Fox, y'all all need to come holler at me, because I'm breaking this shit down like no other.